Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 6 p.m. Eastern Time on September 19th, 2013, and you are tuned in to FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Braden Robinson.
And I'm student meteorologist Troy Fields. And Braden, it was just a very beautiful day outside, just walking on campus, wasn't it?
Absolutely. It was a wonderful day to walk across Landis Green, maybe study outside. I know I had a test today. I don't know about you guys, but definitely studied a lot outside today. It was very nice, but we have a lot to talk about tonight. Game day weekend, maybe a little up in the air, maybe a little bit of rain. However, we are looking at the tropics as well.
And, of course, we haven't talked about the past few days about Invest 95L and the Bay of Campeche. And it is forecasted by most of the models to become a tropical depression and possibly Tropical Storm Jerry.
Absolutely. And models initially took it on a northeasterly path toward our area, toward the Panhandle and the Florida Peninsula. However, more recent models have kind of had it just hanging out in the Gulf. Not sure where it's going to go. Unfortunately, maybe becoming stationary near where Tropical Storm Ingrid made landfall.
What's even more unfortunate is that it's probably going to shove in towards Mexico, and folks here, they've just been shellacked by Tropical Storm Hurricane Ingrid and past couple of systems. So, and just more, and this is going to add on top more misery in terms of freshwater flooding.
Absolutely, probably a lot more flooding from Mexico. But hey, let's get back to our weather. We're going to head it out for a quick overview with Pete.
Hey, thanks, Braden. Yeah, we were actually looking outside. If you were up this morning, maybe you got that little itty-bitty taste of fall. We're looking at maybe 60s instead of your morning 70s. I know I felt it early this morning. But looking ahead for our washout weekend, unfortunately, it looks like a front is moving through. It's going to give us some high rain chances Saturday and into Sunday. More about that later in the cast. But the gentleman at the desk did talk about Tropic Watch 97L causing more problems in Mexico. But around our area, 90 this hour, Tallahassee, 91 in Valdosta, a little cooler up north, 86 and 87 respectively, but it's far cry from those upper 90s that we saw in our heat indices earlier this year. You see that dry air, I don't know if you can see this on your set at home, but it comes from a blue tinge all the way to a little reddish tinge, and that's a picture of the water vapor showing the dry air that suppressed any development of storms. So for the rest of this evening, well, for your overnight tonight, 68, taste of fall should remain pleasant. Winds from the east dying down to about 5. You'll see a lot more of that later in the program. For now, let's go back to the desk.
All right, thank you, Pete. And Braden, that's just a very pleasant temperature, 68 degrees. Oh, so nice.
Absolutely, a nice little taste of fall. We'll move out of our state very quickly, where in the Oklahoma State Fair, outdoor activities were temporarily postponed around 3 o'clock today due to heavy rain and lightning in the area.
Yes, and the patrons at the State Fair were asked to wait around the indoors because of the heavy rain that occurred during the
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And those storms moving in are actually associated with a cold front that's moving through Oklahoma right now. And that cold front is going to start affecting our area later this week, maybe Sunday into Monday.
And as we will talk about later in the show, of course, we have game day on Saturday, and we will have the threat of showers on game day, but we'll have that more later in the segment. But just to give you a heads up, make sure you do have a poncho, or just, think about your plans just in case, it does is a washout. But in the meantime, we're going to send it back out to Braden for the local, who's sitting next to me. Braden, tell us more about what's going on.
Yeah, let's bring it out to the local. Let's bring it by the numbers first. Not a really high temperature today over the last couple days. Those summer temperatures are really starting to diminish a little bit. A high of 90 degrees, only about a degree above our average of 89 degrees for this time of year, so not too bad in terms of that. Low of 71 this morning, again, a little above average for that temperature, however, only 2 degrees over, so not something out of the ordinary that we would see over the last couple weeks. Current conditions looking at 90 degrees right now, partly cloudy skies, a dew point of 65 degrees, so very dry out there. It was a very nice day outside to just go hang out on Landis Green, maybe play a little frisbee, bunch of fun stuff to do when the sun's out, and that sun is only going to last for a couple more days, so take advantage of it. Current temperatures looking at 90 in Tallahassee, 85 in Monticello. Again, these cooler temperatures are really starting to take over our region. A taste of fall is definitely here. 86 in Thomasville, 91 up in Bainbridge. So those temperatures are starting to diminish over the next couple hours. Winds right now coming out of the east-northeast, between 5 and 10 miles an hour generally. However, that is going to change. Maybe wind starting to come from the east-southeast a little bit ahead of that cold front that's going to make its way through this weekend. Local radar, not much you could see here. The sea breeze really staying to the coast today. A lot of false returns that you can see are starting to go away. And you'll see the water vapor again with the blues, the blues representing moist air, the reddish tint that's taking over really been suppressing our weather today. So those afternoon thunderstorms really didn't show up today, especially inland. As I step out of the way, we'll go into your futurecast looking at high pressure and control. The stationary front has already passed over, now draped over south central Florida. And as I put this into motion, this high pressure is going to start making its way to the east. That stationary front is going to start moving out. You can see a much bigger cold front, as we were talking earlier at the desk of those storms in Oklahoma. The same cold front is going to start making its way in, and it's going to bring up tropical moisture, if we can get it in motion. There we go. And not Invest 95L, but definitely all that moisture that cold front is going to bring up. Maybe looking at some flooding conditions. Rain chances will be on the increase up to 70% over your weekend. So we'll go into tonight's forecast. 68 degrees. Again, a taste of fall. Very pleasant. 10% chance of rain. Not much going on out there. Great night to make outdoor plans. Tomorrow, looking at 89 degrees. Plenty of sunshine. It's going to be a wonderful day. It's going to be awesome. Go outside. Have some fun. Go play. It's Friday. Going to be a good night. Your beach forecast for tomorrow, winds out of the east-northeast at 10 knots. That UV index is still very high at 8, so make sure you're still wearing sunscreen, sunglasses if you are out on the water. Your 7-day forecast, as I step out of the way, looking at mid to upper 80s over the next couple days. Rain chances up to 70% on Saturday and Sunday. However, after that, we'll just be looking at those afternoon thunderstorms. However, we'll send it back to Pete to see what's going on as we zoom out to the rest of the southeast.
Hey, thank you very much, Braden. And we'll just start off with the high temperatures recorded over the southeast today. And it's really a major difference. I don't know if you can see this behind me, but this little nose of cooler air right in the backside of that high pressure. They only made it up to 83 in Atlanta. Very much fall-like as compared to the 90s, 95 degrees they were used to only a few weeks back. Officially here at Tallahassee, 90 degrees and 89 in Montgomery, but the heat is actually staying away from us. None of that 97 like they saw today in Shreveport. Now, currently at the hour, we're hanging on to those 90s, but New Orleans is a little rain-cooled down there at 80 degrees. You definitely see these 70s begin to slink down the backside of the Appalachian Mountains, and perhaps, just perhaps, the next cold front will bring us a little more taste of that later on in the week. Now, all across the southeast, we're beginning to see those dew points drop from their summertime highs. A dew point of 59 in Atlanta, that's actually the temperature at which dew would form. So when you actually see those temperatures in the upper 60s to 70s like summertime, that's when it feels sticky. Right now, though, pleasantly dry over most of Georgia, including northern Alabama, as dew points are hovering right around 60 degrees. Of course, Peninsula Florida, as we get to our around Florida, still hanging on to a little bit of sticky easterly flow. Now, our satellite and radar put that into motion. Dry air predominates from Mississippi stretched back to Georgia. A little bit of a sea breeze effect driving in that easterly flow in southern Florida. But the moisture is beginning to surge in New Orleans ahead of the front, which we will talk about later. And that southerly flow is what's going to impact our weather. You see this on the water vapor. Little moisture here indicated by blue, and the drier air by the light red colors. Moisture is confined to the Gulf as that next developing system, 95L, may begin to stream moisture closer to our region. A little close-up look at that right here. Not all that much going on, but Alex will have a full tropical update later on in the program. Now, Futurecast right here. High pressure kicks on out of the way. We'll get that out of here. But the big cold front is going to be next behind it. So pleasant day tomorrow, kind of a transition day. So we're looking at about 20% chance of rain into about the upper 80s for tomorrow. Moisture is going to surge back up into the southeast and increase those rain chances Saturday into Sunday for the rest of the weekend. Tonight overnight, 68 in Tallahassee, 65 in Atlanta. You see that nose of cooler air just dropping down into there. But for tomorrow, what can we expect? 89 in Tallahassee, the upper 80s still reside, and those showers and thunderstorms begin to creep a little bit farther to the east from Little Rock and Shreveport. For right now, though, let's send it back to the desk.
All right, thank you, Pete. And it is time for our daily segment here at the desk, This Day in Weather History.
Yes, and we're going to take you all the way back to 1947, which we did have a major hurricane that hit New Orleans. That actually hit Florida first, but then it traveled first into the Gulf of Mexico and hit Florida, and the pressure was 957 millibars.
Absolutely, a very low pressure for a hurricane. Lowest recorded pressure in an Atlantic hurricane is actually Hurricane Wilma at 882 millibars, but 957, nonetheless, still a very low pressure. Killed 51 and caused $110 million in damage. But let's go ahead and zoom into the future, into 1989, where Hurricane Hugo made landfall in Puerto Rico.
And after that, it was actually a Category 4 hurricane that hit Puerto Rico and devastated many communities in the region. And of course, more familiarly, it hit Charleston, South Carolina 2 days later, and hit just really Gillette regions of Charleston.
Absolutely. 2 days later, it would begin to move into South Carolina, kill 27 South Carolina, cause $110 billion in damage. However, we'll move on to see what's going on in the rest of the nation with Ryan.
Thanks, guys. A lot of action in the middle part of the country right now. We'll take a look at our watches and warnings currently in effect across the entire country, the broader picture of things. Points your eye out. First of all, we've got severe thunderstorm watches and a few warnings in place over the upper Midwest associated with the cold front that is headed our way. Out west, things are looking dry. A couple red flag warnings and some signs of what is behind the front. We've got frost and freeze advisories in the upper plains into the northern mountain regions of the country. Currently, temperatures in place, warm over the east, 90 degrees in Memphis, cooler in New Orleans where we've got some rain showers moving through, 80 degrees at this hour. But look at all this cool air, this cool pocket working its way from Canada into the northern tier of the country. 63 degrees in Billings, Montana at this hour. On the satellite and radar, we've got an active part of the middle of the country, showers from the Great Lakes all the way to the Big Bend of Texas. The west right now is the quiet spot, so if you're out west or headed out west in the near future, things looking really dry across the mountains. Good relief for the folks in Colorado, Denver, Boulder. Those areas will begin to dry out over the next couple days, as is the west coast looking good, although showers will be working in through the next couple days. The East Coast looking good for now, but as the middle part of the country begins to dry out, the east begins to wetten up. We'll zoom in on a couple regions for you. We've got flooding concerns across Texas from the Panhandle down to the Big Bend. All these heavy rain showers. That'll be moving into the San Antonio, Austin, through the Dallas Metroplex overnight tonight. We move farther to the north. We've got this cold front, long line of showers and thunderstorms impacting heavy winds, damaging hail along I-35 through the upper Midwest. Northeast looks good for now, but rain showers will be working in by the weekend time, and the southeast looks good for now in the immediate time being, but showers will begin as moisture begins to tap in for the next couple days. Airport delays around the country looking pretty good right now, and temperatures tonight, we've got cool air across the Intermountain West, 45 degrees tonight in Billings, 48 in Denver. It feels like fall. Across the south, 75 in Dallas. Tomorrow's forecast, we've got warm conditions across the east, 80s for the southeast, and cool air across the upper Midwest. And right now, Nicole's going to take a look at the local forecast.
All right, thank you so much, Ryan. Today's almanac, we reached highs of 92 across the area, really close to average of 88, nowhere near that high of 99 back in 2005. Those conditions were not as muggy, so even though we reached 92, it felt very nice outside. Currently, it's 89 degrees under partly cloudy skies. That dew point is at 65 degrees, so that dew point is the key factor on why we're feeling so nice right now. Currently 86 in Quincy, 91 in Bainbridge, 88 in Marianna, and also 88 in Valdosta. Those dew points, like I said, those are the maker of this area right now, so that high pressure system is sitting over us, so we are seeing those dew points lower, which is the amount of moisture in the air and helps us feel nice when it's in the 60s. Nothing compared to those summer conditions in the 70s. 66 in Quincy, 65 in Tallahassee. Of course, the poor coast is still feeling a little bit muggy. It is 75 in Carabel right now. Satellite and radar shows that we are nice and dry. We're very clear right now. We don't have showers in the area to speak of, maybe a little pass-through shower, but the water vapor shows that there all this red imagery that it is that dry air moving on in. So that is very nice for the next couple of days, but we will be seeing another cold front moving in, so we will see those rains picking up. This high pressure system is what's sitting over us right now, making conditions perfect. Great time to go out for the next few days, but here comes that cold front with that low pressure system bringing on potential for some flooding rains. So we will have those rain chances increasing as that tropical moisture from 95L will be kicking up those rain chances as well. Moving on into our tonight's forecast, we will be dipping down to 68 degrees. It will be very refreshing outside as we will have just that little taste of fall. It will be very pleasant. And those rain chances, look at that, 10%, so it is perfect to head out tonight if you do have plans. Tomorrow, not even reaching 90, it'll be 89 degrees. We will have plenty of sunshine, so it'll be beautiful out. So make sure if you do have the chance to take a walk outside, there'll be plenty of sunshine and it will be the perfect outdoor day. Boating, if you're lucky enough to have a boat and head on out, great time for you. You will have plenty of sunshine. Those waves will be building offshore, and they will be kicking up 2 to 3 feet, and that wind will come out of the east-northeast at 10 to 15 knots, so it will be a perfect day for you. Our 7-day forecast, you can see that this weekend those rain chances are increasing, 70% on Saturday and Sunday. Sad to say, the game day we might have a washout on our hands. Ryan, what do you think about that?
I think it's better than having to deal with the tropical system, but we are essentially getting all the effects of tropical moisture without the winds,
That's true.
Unfortunately, the game is not looking that great. But you never know. It might hold off. Some of the models indicate that the front might lag a little bit, so we might squeeze in a couple quarters dry.
Yeah, that's great. That would be perfect if that happens. Do you know, actually, on this day in weather history, just following up on Troy and Braden, actually a football player in Maryland got struck by lightning in his helmet.
Oh, ouch.
Yes. So hopefully none of that will be happening for us on game day on Saturday. I think we might be okay.
I think we'll be okay on, well, I never say never on the lightning.
It's true. Always be precautious.
It looks more like a heavy rain event, but it's something we're certainly going to be watching over the next couple days. And the football teams will definitely be keeping an eye on it. Yes. Right now, I'd say the game is definitely a go, but we'll have to watch it.
That's true. That's true. We will. Well, do you know what? Let us send things over to Troy right now as he takes us around Florida. Troy, I heard Siesta Key isn't having too great of a day right now, are they?
No, Nicole, not really. As you can see, as we look ahead at your net cam for Siesta Key, not looking too great right now. I see lots of cloudiness right now. Currently 80 degrees right now with a little bit of shower. So if you're just out on the beach right now, just make sure you have an umbrella because things right now are not looking so hot right now. But in the meantime, what's also hot is your current temperatures. Very warm across northern Florida, 89 degrees in the capital city, 81 degrees in Jacksonville. And but as I step off towards the other side of the screen, we're a little bit cooler around West Palm Beach, 82 degrees is the current temperature right now. And that's because we do have some showers that's going on right now. As you can see, central and southern Florida, seeing lots of pop-up rain showers right now. And that's due to high pressure, which is bringing that easterly flow off the Atlantic Oceans, and naturally that's going to bring some moisture with it. But in the meantime, looking ahead at your future casts, and this is where I want to spend some time. That's what's going to happen in your weather over the next couple of days. Right now, we do have this cold front that is draped across the central Florida Peninsula right now. But as we extend out your timeline towards Thursday and to the Friday morning, we do have high pressure off towards the north. That's still going to hold in control for your Friday. That's going to bring some sunshine across Florida. But as we extend out towards Friday afternoon, that high pressure will begin to shift east, and as a result, we'll switch our wind direction out of the southeast, and that's going to bring lots of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. And also note, we do have a cold front that's going to be pushing its way across the area over the next couple of days. So that's going to funnel in our moisture. By the way, tropical moisture will be coming in from 95L in the Bay of Campeche, but fortunately that will not make its way in towards the next couple of days, but we will still see some moisture associated with it. But as we look ahead at your future cast radar, just to give you an idea what's going to happen with our precipitation over the next couple of days, you can see that as we extend out towards Thursday and Friday, it's going to lots of rain in the area. So once again, make sure you have that umbrella in for Orlando if you want to go to Disney World, or if you want to go to the beaches, because this time of year, we still got a week of summer left. So, not a bad way to go towards the beach, play some volleyball, or in the meantime, just sitting out in the sun and just talking to your friends and just sitting out in the great, weather, because that's what we love here in the Sunshine State. But looking ahead at tonight's forecast, temperatures not looking too shabby. Look at that. In the northern Florida, 68 degrees in Tallahassee. So reaching clear conditions finally, but a little bit warmer towards Florida, 75 degrees in Miami. And look ahead at tomorrow's forecast, more warmth in store with temperatures in the 80s, lower 90s. But we're going to take a look at the tropics of Alex. And Alex, understand that there's a possibility that we could see Tropical Storm Jerry in the near future.
Yes, the possibility is not as high as it once was. However, it is still a possibility. As you can see, first row of storms this year have all been tropical storms. Now we are starting to get into the hurricanes. A little late start on that. Maybe Jerry can become a hurricane and we might start seeing a little pattern, but it doesn't look so likely with a smaller chance of development. I'm going to get to that in just a bit, but first let me show you all of the Atlantic, and you can see not a lot of action. This tiny little spin right over here, if you can even make out a spin at all, are the remnants of Tropical Storm Umberto. Now just a very small storm, and they're pushing up toward the North Atlantic, not going to be an impact for anyone. We're going to zoom in on this little creature right here, and what we have right here is just about a 20% chance of development, and it's not really a closed core of circulation just yet. We do forecast this to continue drifting off towards the west, not really going to impact anyone, but if it does develop, it would be Jerry or Karen if Jerry were to form in the Gulf of Mexico. Speaking of the Gulf of Mexico, this is the invest that we've been keeping our eyes on for the past couple of days, and the convection, or the thunderstorm activity I should say, associated with this storm has since died out and now just slowly drifting towards the west. Models since had it moving up toward the north. Now they're going to have it just stay off in the Gulf of Mexico, possibly regaining strength. Regardless of whether it gains strength or not, it is going to drift towards the area that has already seen torrential downpours from previous tropical cyclones, most recently Hurricane Ingrid, which had impacted them a few days earlier. Now let's take it off to Umberto. Just a small little low pressure circulation with winds at around 35 miles an hour. The pressure relatively high at 1,006 millibars, and it's going to stay that way with no notable change in its forecast intensity or track, slowly just going to drift off towards the north. But we also have a really big situation in the West Pacific. We have Typhoon Usagi, actually a super typhoon, excuse me, with winds at around 160 miles an hour. This storm has been the first Category 5 storm Earth has seen this year in 2013. So quite a notable achievement, but it's not good news because it is going to make its way off towards southern Taiwan and impacting mainland China as a possible major typhoon, which is basically a hurricane, just the same, just a different name. And right now its winds are at 160. It might impact as a 125 mile an hour storm. The diameter of the storm is about 500 miles, so it can swallow up the state of Florida, just so you can see just how big that storm is. And it's going to have widespread impacts whether or not it is super or even a tropical storm. This place has seen numerous tropical storm impacts all throughout the year. Back home on our neck of the woods, our hurricane climatology, this shows the likelihood of the tropical storm development, and the red means the highly likely, and the further you go off means the less likely. September is the most active month. You could see that storms form everywhere from the Cape Verde Islands all the way into the northern Atlantic, likely though in the Gulf Stream waters and the Gulf of Mexico, because that's where we have the warmest temperatures. Anyways, we're going to take it back onto the desk with a little more information about some tropical stuff.
Thanks, Alex. And right now we'll give you a few little tidbits about the tropics. As you just saw with that graphic, typically September is a very active month for the Atlantic Basin for tropical development, but this year it's been pretty low.
Yeah, it has actually been very low. What makes Super Typhoon Usagi so super and so extreme is something that is about the accumulated cyclone energy.
That's right. Scientists put an index on the entire Atlantic Basin. It's a numerical value to kind of rank how much energy associated with tropical systems occurs over a given time. And due to the inactivity this season, the Atlantic Basin has accumulated less cyclone energy than Usagi as a single storm in the Pacific.
Yeah, that
shows how powerful.
That's right. That is very powerful. Let us send things over to Jack right now. Jack, how's it looking around Florida?
Well, thanks, guys. We actually got a little bit of a taste of fall this morning. If you stepped out early on your early morning commute to work, we reached a low of 71 degrees. Very nice breeze in the area, but we started heating up, reached that high of 92 degrees, so we're still in those summer months, but we are dropping down. Currently, though, across the board, 89 in Tallahassee, 86 in Quincy, 91 degrees in Bainbridge, so our temperatures are starting to drop off, and I don't think we'll see 90s for another week or so, so some fall weather in our region. Now, we aren't seeing those heat indices as high as we've been seeing for the past summer months. It's because we have a lot of dry air as this blue area is pushed past with it, which is all the moisture, but over Tallahassee we're seeing relatively dry, so our heat indices didn't get as high because we didn't have that moisture. Current heat indices 92 in Tallahassee, 89 degrees in Quincy, and 94 degrees in Bainbridge, and that's really what it feels like when you take a step outside, and that's really close to our current temperatures, so we don't have a lot of moisture in the region. Now look ahead of the next few days. We have a high pressure system that has been building up, and we can thank that high pressure system for the nice days we've been having. But once we start this futurecast into motion, we have a cold front that will start pushing through from central Alabama into Georgia, and we could see some pleasant days on Friday. But once we start making it into Saturday, that's when we could see that tropical moisture coming up from the Bay of Campeche, bringing a lot of moisture in the region into Saturday and Sunday. So the football game could be quite a wet one, damper one. It could be quite a washout. So if you are going to the game, be wary of that. Make sure you bring those umbrellas, those ponchos, anything to stay dry. But tonight, we're staying relatively dry. Less than a 10% chance of rain, 68 in Tallahassee for our low, 70 degrees in St. Mark, 68 as well in Quincy, and 67 degrees up in Bainbridge. So we'll stay pretty low, which is pretty nice for our temperatures. Tomorrow, so we're reaching a high of only 89 degrees. I don't think we'll see 90s for the next week or so. 20% chance of rain, hit or miss showers in the afternoon. 88 in Quincy, 89 degrees in Bainbridge, 86 degrees down in St. Mark's. So pleasant day for us to get out there onto the beach. Beach will be great. Waves will be kicking up 1 to 2 feet. Gusty winds kicking up to 10 knots. Boating forecast, we'll see those waves actually kicking up a little higher though. 2 to 3 feet. Those winds will be out of east-northeast at 10 to 15 nights. A lot of sunshine in the area, so make sure you go out there, enjoy your Friday before that cold front comes with a lot of that moisture. We could see our temperatures dropping down into 85 or so, but look at this, that our rain chances on Saturday and Sunday aren't great. 70% chance of rain. Game day might be a washout, unfortunately for us, but look at this. We don't see a 90-degree mark until Thursday of next week. So after that rain passes through, we'll see nicer weather for us in the region. But we're going to send it back to the desk with Ryan and Nicole, and they're going to talk about the Colorado flooding.
Thank you so much, Jack. You know, this story is still on our hearts and minds right now because it is still actively going on. Only to add to all of the sadness that has been happening in Colorado, they have problems with toxins entering their water. They have a lot of gas and oil wells up in northeastern Colorado, so they are having a lot of problems with that because they can't accurately diagnose exactly how bad these wells have opened and spread to the water system.
And in addition to that, a lot of the water treatment and sewage systems in northeastern Colorado have also been inundated with the floodwaters, and it's just all posing a great hazard to the health and the water system in northeastern Colorado.
That's right. They do have emergency response techniques in place right now, so they are doing the best they can do, but until that water does come back down, they really can't check out the area. Most of Colorado is under a boiling advisory right now, but hopefully as things dry out, they can have a better accuracy of how things are going to end up.
That's right. And with our forecast, you can see that in view. Hopefully we won't be dealing with any flood waters here, although heavy rain is expected for the weekend, so there is the potential for some flash flooding with heavy rains in our area this weekend.
That's right. Hey, if you like us on Facebook at FSU Weather and give us a tweet at FSU Weather as well. And as always, you can watch us 24/7 on livestream.com.
Absolutely. If you can't get enough of us, you know where to find us online. That's it for tonight. I'm Ryan Smithies.
And I'm Nicole Madden. Have a great night.